Nope, it's not a test. Getting ready to start up coffee time. Be starting in about 7 minutes. About 5 minutes to go. Four minutes to go. Three minutes to go. Yeah, more or less. Give or take. Two, 2 minutes. About a minute to go. So, Alfredo, did I answer that? How you doing, Mike? Let's see. Helsinki again. All right, let's get the show started.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. Welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive?
I'll just have a cup of coffee, then I'll go. Thought that
Good morning. Welcome back to the channel, Grand Columbia. Welcome to Coffee Time Live on this not quite so beautiful overcast day. They can't all be perfect, right? I got alarms going off all over the place. Let me turn that off. Good morning from Fort Lauderdale. So, Helsinki. I can't hear you. But put yes or no if I pronounce your name right. Would it be Jukka? I don't know. You tell me. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Well, I've got, because of the problems that I was having with the stream, which seems to be okay now. Seems I got it fixed. Okay, sorry about that. Do you pronounce the J? Is there a J sound to it? I got a series of questions asking me about the channel. Now, if you're not interested in it, you might want to tune out for about 10 minutes. But I got enough questions to say, all right, let me bring that up. It's like the palm, Jukka. Well, here the Y is pronounced like a J, but in other places it would be Jukka. So I'm guessing it's Jukka. Good morning from Ibagi. Gringo Matt, you still in Ibagi? You gotta put that Ibagi. That's how it goes, like Kalarka, which seems pretty unnatural to me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff. And I'll get through it pretty quick. Yes, you're guessing right. Okay. All right. So let me start first with captions. So took a picture, screenshot. See if I can guess which hand is right. I'm going to guess, yes, I guessed right. So let me get out of the way. Right here, you see that CCC, that's closed caption. That's how, well, I can't point over there, but over there, no, over there. It's on the screen. Also, right there is sometimes you can get translations. You can set the language sometimes, not always. I can't figure out the rhyme or reason. John from Cape Cod, how you doing? You wouldn't happen to be in my neck of the woods right now, would you, John? I'm trying to figure out who Mr. X is. Kind of thought it was maybe you. Okay, so so much for that. And what was the other question? What's going on with your channel? So I'm going to try to get through this real quick because you can go look. But if you look right now on right here where there shows no video, right there, can't get coordinated here. The live video shows there. And where that monkey is, that's where the live chat shows up. Now I'm having a problem getting this staged so that you can see it ahead of time. That's why I started it early and did a countdown to let people know that I'm on. So also on this page, the playlist, you can see the playlist here. There's Colombia and all the, there's Ecuador, there's all the playlists that I have on the channel. You can find those playlists here, plus everything I've ever uploaded, 600 and whatever videos. No, still in Massachusetts. Okay, well, it's not you then. So there's that. Plus, if you look at different things, you know, the contribution thing is there. Let me see if I can scroll through this. Where is it? Website. All right, merchandise. Oh yeah, I wanna mention this. There's two options for merchandise now. Some people said that the website that I had was a little complicated. This one is real simple. It's t-shirts and a couple hoodies and some mugs. The logo's set up. That's it. The other one, I called it DIY, but it's got tons of things. It's got backpacks and duffel bags and all kinds of things. But the nice thing about this is you can position, size the logos any way you want. You can even upload something of your own and create your own custom t-shirt. I thought it was really cool, but I keep getting messages saying, it's so complicated, I don't know what to do. So now I've got the other one also. Take your pick. And let's see, get out of there. Oh yeah, backpacks. You can see it on the website. How do I contact you? So if you hit contacts, where is it? Right there, contact. You see at the top there, it says all contact links. You click on that and you get this. I mean, every which way, everything I've got going, every channel, every podcast, emails, Instagram, all kinds of stuff is there. Was there anything else? The blog page, podcast, you can access in the website. Yeah, this one I wrote a book. The very first one I wrote, it was really long. What else? Videos I covered. Relocations. Okay, so that's it. Now, last one. Good morning. The last one. Oh, okay. The last one is covering different sites that I've been experimenting with for live broadcast. These are all free, like YouTube. Now, I hate to say it, with the problems I have with YouTube, they're still the best game in town. But it's like, we all know various reasons. Plus, I have problems with them from time to time. Sometimes it's perfect. Today, it's running perfect. But last week, we had issues. But I've got DLive, I've got Twitch, I've got Odyssey, which used to be LBRY, Library. It's now Odyssey. Every video I've ever made is actually on this website. If I put it on YouTube, it automatically posts it on this website. Plus, I can run live here now. It's something they just started. I was one of the first ones to run a beta test, and I ran a live on there just to try it out. So those are some options that in the future, you may want to be looking there. Now there is Facebook Live, but that's kind of going from bad to worse. I don't really see it as a good option. This is working pretty good. You don't see through the cup anymore. Although that effect was pretty cool. I thought Instagram was only for teenage girls and Kim Kardashian. Did it occur to you that maybe I've got teenage girls that watch this? Good morning, Mike. How you doing? Okay, so that's it. Because of I put in hours this week trying to get this figured out and get it working. It looks like everything's working great. It's no drop frames, lots of juice going on, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, still here. We're gonna go right to questions, comments, whatever you have. When you run out, that's when I'll quit the stream. Yes, here in Ibagi, I want to come to Armenia, but the locals here are saying the highway is still blocked. What? I don't know. Maybe it's blocked in Ibagi. I can't imagine why. There wasn't much happening there. There certainly isn't anything going on here. It's been open. I mean, I drove all over the place in a car last week. Video, very high quality. That's great. That's awesome to hear. Video and sound is perfect. Yeah, I think I might have it dialed in. So maybe all that work was worthwhile. I watch on 4K. I stream on 1080. I may in the future start, but YouTube has been problematic, and 4K can be issues also. So I don't know. Right now, 1080, that's what the vast majority of people watch on. And so, we're going to leave it here for now. I don't think if you watch on 4K, you're going to get anything better than 1080 because that's what I'm streaming it at. I'm also only streaming at 30 frames per second. It could go up to 60. It's not an action program, so I don't really see a lot of sense to it. So, we're going to leave it here for now. Now, some things may change next month. It depends, but, we'll get to it. If it does, it's just going to be to make everything a little more consistent, maybe a little more stabilized, which I'm sure we'll all welcome that. Got any questions? Ibagi, road blocked. I can't imagine that. I was just talking yesterday to somebody who lives in Calarca, but he hasn't been home in a while because he's been working on La Linea, which is on the way to Ibagi, and he goes back and forth, and I don't know, I hesitate. I don't think that's true. Where to buy a good hat like yours? This is a pretty awesome hat. I like this hat. It's I don't wear hats just for this channel. I had my Colombian Panama hat, which is right over there, all crushed to hell. And this one, I bought this. Robert was with me. We were in Salento and walked by a touristy hat shop, but it's a shop I've been there a lot of times, and I knew that they had some really nice hats for pretty reasonable prices. So some shops there, it's like, whoa. But, excuse me. So I went in and I saw this one right away. I like this style. It's classic Colombian. And so I bought it. I don't remember now. Maybe Robert remembers, but HD chillin', Colombian pesos, quiet in Bogota. Yeah, it's about time. Thank you. I really appreciate the contribution. Yeah, Bogota, that had a little fire going to it, but how much does it cost? I honestly don't remember. Robert, if you're on, if you remember, I think it was maybe around $50 or less. I didn't have much money in my pocket, and I splurged. Yeah, I think it was less than that. Do the Colombian border people ask for proof of onward travel when coming in on tourist visa with no return ticket? I've never been asked for that coming across the land border. I guess, if you're walking across into Colombia, maybe they figure you're walking across back. But when you fly in, it can definitely be problematic. But it's like a lot of things, it's hit and miss. But it's not that big a deal. You can actually go online and buy a bus ticket for a few dollars. You can. I've been told by actually a lot of people over the last handful of years that you can actually print off an itinerary for the return flight, and you're not paying for it, and that they'll accept that. I think the airlines are more apt to give you a problem because the thing with the airlines, if they let you come in and there's a problem, it's their expense to return you. HD Chillin, Bogota. What are your thoughts on Ibagi? I notice it's in the area of Pereira and Manizales. I don't hear you talk about it much. I did one or two, I think a couple videos there. It's a nice place. It's a little too hot for me. It's almost along the lines of Cali. I don't know why, because it's in the mountains, but it seems like anytime I've been, it just gets hot. There's some interesting things about it. I would definitely say visit. It's part of the Coffee Triangle, which has 4 cities. Figure that one out. But I don't really have much to say. There's a couple people that I know there, Colombians, and I really I'm at a loss as to what to say about it. I don't really have a lot negative to say about it. I didn't care for it, but there were things about it that I really liked. It's I don't know. Maybe I'm a snob. Maybe I'm really particular. We like what we like, and everything else just kind of falls into the basket. Okay, somebody tell me, what is this? Tell me what that is. I'll get a ticket then. I don't know that I would get a ticket. Unless you can cash it back in. The bus ticket. Yeah, bus ticket's definitely a good way to go. You can book a reservation for $25. It's good for 2 days. Yep, that's also. You can even rent air ticket. Yeah, like kind of the same thing. John, good morning. Have I missed anything here so far? Hello to all of you. Thanks for this live friendship info for expats to expats. You're welcome. I love this channel. Awesome. Well, we love you too. Aguacate. Avocado. I don't know. You see, this is an avocado. That's an avocado. There you go. Look at that. Size of my head there. That's an avocado. There we go. That's an avocado. That's an avocado. This is like a kiwi. I don't think it counts. Okay. Good afternoon from the UK. New to the channel, Darren Richards. Great channel, by the way. Thank you. Really enjoy the updates and your perspective on the situation in Colombia at the moment. At the moment, we're back to Colombia. Now, Medellin's still going through its pico y placa. Or pico y cedula. You got to have the odd or even number on the cedula to get into a store. Here in Armenia, we're not doing any of that crap. They even said, all right, the bars can open up, you can drink, and you can stay out later, and basically the mask is the only thing going on, and hopefully that'll go away soon. There's been little protests here and there, but nothing to worry about. Actually, if you're here in Armenia and you see a little protest, go on over and join up with them, because they either are or they're quickly going to turn into a little party. That's just how they are. It did get pretty big here for a couple days, and they were blocking the roads. That was a national thing, but that's that's over. There are two types of avocado. There's probably more than two, but I'm saying this is an avocado. This is a kiwi. All right. Whittier. Any easy way to get a girlfriend in Armenia? What's easy about a girlfriend? If you can't get a girlfriend in Armenia, you're never going to have a girlfriend. Let me put it that way. But you got to behave. You got to, you got to be careful about insults. You got to be careful about not looking like you're trying to flash money around. They're more conservative here. They're far more interested in the quality of your character than your age or your looks or your money. Now, you're going to find occasionally, gold diggers are everywhere, but as a whole, as a group, Colombian chicas, they're not big on the flashy, braggadocious, rude, loud, money throwing around kind of person. Better tasting. I am from New Jersey. My mother told me that if I don't have anything nice to say, no, I was just talking about New Jersey recently when I was driving around in Pineda, and it was driving me crazy because of the roads and all the one-way roads. And I remembered when I go to New Jersey, it's kind of the same. Hello from the UK, the original UK subscriber here since day one. You've been around for quite a while. I don't know, day one. If you say it, I'll believe it. I don't know, but we didn't do the live, so maybe I didn't see the chat, but I definitely have seen that name for a while. Sinambre, the Canadian money, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'll try to figure out where I can exchange that. So thank you for that. John, I'm gay. Can I date in Armenia? Can I marry an Armenian gay guy? Not really my world, so I'm sure you could. I don't know. I can't pretend to know anything about it. I could tell you this. On the app, Tinder app, it's used as a dating app here. Do not make the mistake. If you're a Medellin, you can make the mistake. But if you're $1.25 American, I don't know, the dollar's, kind of plunging. It's plummeting. It's affected me here a little bit. But anyway, but a Canadian might be going down together. The Tinder app, in most of Colombia, it's used as a dating app because you can communicate. It's free. People like that. Facebook app, Tinder app. And on the Tinder app, I'm not trying to equate necessarily gay with trans. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. Don't know much about it. But it seems like, I would say, an inordinate number of trans on there. Also, if I'm flipping through every once in a while, and I don't know why, I'm guessing somebody just didn't do the settings, but a guy will pop up, and I have it down for women. I still keep that app, look at it once in a while. Not that I actually have no need for that, but so what do we got here? From what I experienced here in Ibagi, it seems a little bit hotter in the north and downtown, but a little bit cooler in the south of the city with more breeze. That's actually, I saw that also. But it's south of the city to the point where you're practically out of the city and there's some really nice houses, apartments in that area. Is too many street corner girls or working girls? No, not really. Again, that's not anything that I deal with, but actually, one of my lady friends was telling me about this area of town where they actually have some houses like that. So I know they exist here. I had lunch, I don't know, 3-4 years ago with a guy who owns an escort service. He heard me ordering and he said, "Oh, you speak English?" I said, "Yeah, I don't really speak much Spanish." This was 3-4 years ago. And he says, "Well, you mind?" So he sat down and so we got to talking. Turns out he owns an escort service that has locations in Bogota, Armenia, where he lives or lived, Manizales, and Pereira. So those 4 cities. And he's like the high-end escort service, for businessmen, travelers. It was go to your hotel or apartment or whatever only. And it was girls that would, mostly college girls looking for extra money. They would only have like 1 or 2 dates a week. What else did he tell me? I have his information, but I don't even know if he's still in business. Somebody asked me the other day and I gave it to him. I didn't even get any feedback. I don't know if he's still in business, if that phone number is any good. It was quite a while ago, but it was kind of interesting. I thought about doing a video on it, but then I think it would, I'd get too much flack. It would be misunderstood. People would assume that, I'm frequenting, houses like that or whatever, which I'm not. If I were, I would say so, but I'm not. So in Manizales, you'll find plenty of dates, John, but in Armenia too. Yep, I would say Manizales is, the thing is, you got to learn how to treat females here. And if you do that, even with poor language, you're going to do fine. Poor Spanish. So it's really not a problem. Just do your homework as to, where they're coming from. I did a half-an-hour dating video talking about this. That's where I did the 2 months with the dating apps, giving everything a shot. Darren Richards became a member. Thank you. Appreciate it. Same-sex marriage is legal in Colombia since 2016. Okay, didn't know that. Means a lot of brothels. A lot. I don't know. I tell you things that I know, and things that I don't know, I tell you I don't know. I've got a friend who worked for a couple months as a cam girl, a webcam girl. So I quizzed her, and I thought about doing a video on that too. But I'm not really that interested in doing videos in that topic. I know when I meet in person here, very often these things come up, and I've got on a one-on-one, I don't mind talking about that. It's not like I'm embarrassed or ashamed. It's nothing like that. It's just these things don't fit into the personality that I am. It just doesn't seem to go that way. All seemed fat or dumpy. I don't know who seemed fat or dumpy. I'm not sure what you're referring to. There's some beautiful women here. I find your line of questions offensive. Colombia is not just for sex tourists. Well, yeah, that's it's kind of a good point. And I want to be good about answering questions, but there's other channels actually that'll give you details, and they're actually more skilled. They have more knowledge about that part of the world. It's just not anything that I do. After all my relationships, I might even change teams and join John. There you go. Government is down on sex tourism. Don't know. I'm not pleading ignorance because I know something and I don't want to admit it. I really don't know. For those couple months, and well, I would say that time that I talked with that guy, and then those couple months that I did the dating videos, that all my knowledge really came from those moments or that time. And just a lot of it I just didn't want to. Even if you look at my dating video, I'm not talking about hookers and I'm not talking about brothels. And that dating video, it's talking about the culture here, Colombian women. Again, I'll exclude Medellin, but Colombian women and what I call the real Colombia, their attitudes, why they have those attitudes historically, culturally, where it comes from, and how you can destroy your chances or enhance your chances. So, that I was very comfortable doing. Totally agree. As a man who travels solo, I'm fed up with being treated like the only reason I'm here is sex tourism. Cuba was my last experience. Terrible in that regard. Yeah, it's a stigma that Colombia is not fond of, and it's kind of a stigma that I would guess that a lot of people coming to visit are not real fond of. I don't really worry about it because I'm here in Armenia. It's not a thing here. People aren't coming here for that. If you want that, go to Medellin. It's just going to be easy and simple. If you're looking for real friends, real relationships, maybe a real girlfriend, but in a place like Armenia, Ibagi, even Pereira, Manizales, those Bucaramanga, those places are real. But where you have a lot of tourists, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that kind of trade, and it's one of the things about Medellin. It's just not that great. What's with all these questions about things that it's easy to find legal or finally legal and medical, but I don't know. I don't smoke weed. I mean, when I was a kid, I smoked weed for 15 years. And it took 15 years for me to figure out it was a waste of time and money. And I just get high on life. I mean, I love to drink, but I hardly ever drink. In a month, I might have a couple beers. I had a rum and Coke for the first time in over a year the other day. That bottle of rum that some of you know about that I bought over a year ago, I finally broke into it because I ordered lunch and it came with a free Coca-Cola. I don't even drink Coca-Cola, but what am I going to do with this? So I decided I would have a rum and Coke. And it was delicious. Love it. But it'll probably be another year before I have another one. So ask me questions about things I know about. Ask me, I don't know. Colombian women I see are well-dressed, smile a lot, and are friendly. Now, here's the thing about Armenia. Here during the day, Colombian women are dressed like lumberjacks. I mean, it's not like it used to be. Everybody's got blue jeans on. Of course, they love those blue jeans where they're all ripped to shreds. But everybody's wearing blue jeans, T-shirts. If it gets to 75 degrees, they think it's cold. They put a jacket on. It may or may not have makeup. This was a shock to me because 20 years ago, a Colombian woman would not leave the house without 3 hours of preparation. And I was also, 20 years ago when I was living in Pereira, I was shocked and mildly embarrassed because everybody in those days dressed like streetwalkers. They all had high-heeled shoes. They all had mini skirts that, man, don't bend over. I don't want to look. I'm kind of like, I get embarrassed. And they had these midriff things, and it was awkward at first. I got used to it, but I really felt awkward. But it's not really like that anymore. And today it's like I said, they dress like lumberjacks. Now at night, goes on the makeup. Here in Armenia, it goes on the makeup. The nice clothes come out, at least pre-COVID. Face mask goes on, covers them up. Um, in Cuba, I got asked if I wanted a girl or a taxi probably 1,000 times in 2 weeks. Yeah, yeah, that's really no. I don't like that kind of scene. When I was in the Philippines, it was one of the things I hated the poverty, and the poverty drove that. And I mean, you couldn't walk 10 feet without getting proposition. It was just endless, and it didn't seem to matter where you were. It's just the way it was. Look, I like female company as much as anybody does. I think I used to like it more than most people. But this part of it, I've never been comfortable with it. Pot is totally legal in Canada now. It's the only way Trudeau got elected. It's pretty funny. I asked for directions the other day and got 3 different ways to go. What's with that? Directions. Forget asking for directions, because first of all, if they don't know, they're going to lie to you and say that they do, because they think it's rude if they tell you no. So there's a pretty good chance that if they're not sure, they're going to make something up, and you might as well flip a coin. It's a 50-50. If it's a crapshoot, you might as well just figure it out yourself. Google works. It's not necessarily accurate if you're driving for the driving directions, but for a map, it's pretty good. Yeah, asking for directions is asking for trouble. And even then, when you get directions from somebody that knows, who taught them how to give directions? It becomes a story. You might as well put music to it. It just goes on, and everything's so vague, and it's like landmarks that maybe once were, but it's a minefield. What bank account you recommend before my location to Armenia? I will say Capital One. It's been flawless. Issues that other people have from time to time, I've never had with Capital One. You don't even have to register that you're out of the country anymore. That's something you used to have to do, but you don't even have to do that anymore. So, you can't beat it. You just pull all your money out with an ATM card. And if you need a big chunk of money, the ATM you can do more than once. But if it's a big chunk of money, you can always I use World Remit. One time I lost my ATM card, so I had money sent to me World Remit. It was a couple dollars. I picked it up at the counter at the Bank Colombia, which is the worst bank, in my opinion, to have, because they nickel and dime you on fees, but that's another thing. Are there any new restaurants that opened in Armenia that have you tried recently and really liked? There's some. When they open, I'm not going to say, because maybe I've run into some things that I just never noticed before, but I'm going to tell you some places that are really good. Now, I like going to the Container City in the evening. It's kind of I would say, remember when we used to call people yuppies? The category was like college students. I guess we say millennials now. It's a lot of those, but some older. It's a mixed crowd. You'll even see parents with their kids in there. But it's a whole bunch of different types of food. Like over there, they're containers and shipping containers. Over there will be sushi, and up there is chicken wings, and here is Mexican, and over here is a bar, and over there is a bar, and here's steak, and it's pretty cool, and it's a pretty good sized complex. So that's always fun. Boludo, I think it's one of my favorite places, at least if you want a good steak, but one in particular. It's Argentine beef. It comes with a strip cut in half and cooked. There's something with a flavor of that. I swear it's addictive. They marinate it or something. It's killer. Not far from here, they make homemade bread, including sourdough bread, any kind of bread that you're interested in. They probably make it, and they're killer at it. But they've also got a restaurant, and I posted up, some of you saw it, I posted up Eggs Benedict. I'm not exaggerating. It was the best I've ever had in my life. And the chef was obviously proud because after I started, eating, I ate some of it. He actually came out to ask me, how did you like that? And he should have been proud. The hollandaise sauce was perfect. Everything was great. That's Bianco, the panaderia, the bakery, Bianco. Then you've got the Bianco Italian restaurant that's over by Supermercado Lorales that I really like that place. And of course, I've been there in a long time because it's really kind of priced out of my range, but La Fogata is awesome. Now, if you want a cheap version of La Fogata and you're in that area, right across the street on the corner is Lomo Biche. And they have the good lunches, the typically 6,000 to 8,000. Well, theirs is upscale and it's really well done, and you got a lot of choices. And I think it's around 12,000, worth the difference. But they also have a menu, and you order food off the menu. It's really good. There's a ton of good places to eat here. There's a Mexican restaurant. I can't think of the name of it. It's on the other side of town, but they deliver. There's no lacking for good food here. You can even find good pizzas. I almost want to pull that video down because of the situation. People didn't watch the video that explained why it wasn't representative. I just decided we all got together to do it anyway. But you can get good pizzas here too. But you can get an awful lot of miserable pizzas. You kind of need to know where to get the good ones. All right, what do we got? Is Uber in Armenia? Thank God, no. And I hope they never get here. Why on earth would I want an Uber when a taxi, almost everywhere I'm going to go, it's $1.50, and it's a registered taxi, and it's got a serial number on the side of it, and they're monitored, they're paying their taxes, they've got a permit, they're doing everything the right way. You don't need Ubers to come in that skip a lot of those expenses, to cut the legs out from under, these taxi drivers. It's just crap. So, going to Boludo, can't wait. Remember, Argentine beef. Bife de Argentino, I think it's called. Something like that. I'm starting to salivate right now. Yeah, I almost never eat breakfast. And by the time I'm done with this, I'm going to be pretty hungry. Do you know about interior wall cladding in wood or drywall? Yeah. But that's pretty, I'm not sure what it has to do with here. But I've built a couple houses in my life. Are you still driving your car? Well, I'm going to save that story, that long and sad story, for when it finally comes to a conclusion. I'm going to talk about the mistakes that I've made, the money that I've wasted. But it appears that I will have it back maybe by Wednesday. And then for the first time, I can drive it more than 10 feet since the 14 months I've owned the thing. Yeah, when I did all that driving around, I got a rental car because I had to. I had an obligation. If you come here and you're expecting certain things, then I'm going to make sure you get it. La Fogata is wonderful. La Fogata is yeah, it's great. It's a great date place. You see a lot of people that go there for birthdays, for various celebrations. It's because it's really nice and the food is killer. And you can't hate a place that's got a charcoal grill in the middle of the restaurant. It's very, very classy. There's a place not far from me. It's like a minute walk from Boludo, as you keep walking south, and it's called Salamandra. And I wanted to go there for the longest time because it looks beautiful. And I went one day. I was walking with a friend. She said she was hungry. We were standing right in front of it. I said, well, you know what? I want to try this. She's more simple. It's like, well, come on. You know, it's you'll live. I need to try this. So I went in, sat down. Gorgeous place. Views were amazing, which is another nice thing about Boludo. So I ordered up, and the food comes, and it's got all the design of an artist. As a matter of fact, it's a little pretentious, and they should have spent the time and effort on actually making the food better. Now, she had a fish dish that I tasted it. It was killer. I mean, I'll give it that. They're really good with sauces, but I had a beef dish that, you know, that video I did on my old shoes? Now I know where the soles went. Okay, I advise Nino's Pizza in Oro Mall. Never been there. Maybe I'll try that. Oro Mall, I'm sure that's in the north. Is that in one of those high-rise complex areas like the orange and black one? Is it in there? I'm not even familiar with that mall. I think it's on the outer edge of town. I think Colombia will demand vaccine before entry. I kind of doubt it, but no crystal ball, but I don't think it's very likely. Hope not, but I don't really plan on leaving, so for me it's not an issue. There's something similar to Uber that I used. I don't know, maybe. I just use taxis. I can't imagine why I would want to use anything but a taxi. Plan to move to Colombia in a couple years and find the content of your channel really useful. That's the point. Like the video on the medical insurance. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. It took me forever to get around to actually doing it the way that I did it, but I kind of thought I should wait until I actually go through it. How easy is it to open a bank account in Colombia? Take it you need to have the Visa and Cedula sorted first. Probably. I don't really recommend that, but if you do, Colpatria and Davivienda seem to be the most customer friendly. If I were to open one, it would probably be Davivienda, even though I prefer Colpatria's ATMs. And they're spread all over Colombia. But I can't imagine why anybody would want to do that. But, you know, maybe you have reasons. Car rental, asking for credit card or debit card, they're fine. I'm not sure the question. Do car rental asking for credit card or debit card are fine? I'm not sure what you mean. Do you have to have a credit card or a debit card? Yes, absolutely. Do you advise someone for that kind of job here in Armenia? Oh, you're talking on the drywall, or that's actually a relatively simple thing. Like I said, even I could do it. So anybody that's doing that kind of work, I'm sure will do a good job. Another thing, people tend to be pretty conscientious here, but don't pay until you're happy with the job. You can pay for the materials, that's fair, but don't pay till it's done. If you're setting yourself up for problems. If you pay people ahead, it's like as good as they were normally, all of a sudden they act like the transaction's finished. Yeah, the only problems I've ever run into is if I mistakenly paid ahead, which I don't do anymore. Please click the like button, guys. Yeah, sure. Hit the likes. Yeah, I suck at that kind of stuff. You know, like, comment, subscribe, here's an example. There. I don't think that one went through. It was sticking up here, is not going through. And I don't know, HD Chillin' Sin Nombre, you gave contributions, and I didn't notice if anything came up on those. Well, let me see. If anybody knows if that came up when they actually did it, I'd be interested to know. It's all supposed to be automatic, but I've told that occasionally it doesn't work that well. I don't know. Okay, so someone that job. Please click the like button. That man you took for a visa the other day, did they ask for international health insurance on his visa app? I didn't go in with him, but I know that you are required to have it. So I wouldn't go without it, or you could be wasting your time. But somebody said, so I've got to carry that, and I've got to get the EPS. No, once you have your cedula, you go get the EPS. You don't need that visa anymore, or that international insurance anymore. Lose, you were paid only like $3 an hour. That side conversation is fine. I like that, but I miss things and I don't know what's going on. But that's cool. Keep it up. I don't need to know. Clarifying car rental question. I just wonder if they could only accept debit cards because I don't have credit cards. I used, remember when I said Rappi sent me a credit card out of the blue without asking for it for 35 or 4 million pesos or something? Well, I figured I'd try it out on the rental car, and I paid cash for the car, but they take it for security. Now, what I noticed is they don't block off, like in the U.S., if you do that, whatever the amount is, they'll block it off. Like for a rental car, maybe they'll block off $200 or $500 or something, and that's not accessible until they release it, and then a few days later. The one that I gave them, it was never blocked off. I kept looking, and the available on it never changed. So that was kind of cool. They'll get burned once or twice and probably change the way they do that. Debit card, probably. I mean, there's an office at the airport. I used an office out of Pereira. They bring the car to my door, and when I was done, they came back and picked it up from my door. Doesn't get any easier than that. It was pretty painless, actually. The only thing is, I was kind of on edge because the insurance covers the other person, but yeah, I don't know how all that worked, and I had hoped I was going to get my own car back. But, I won't say it was last minute, but it was almost last minute. It came up at the top of the chat. Yeah, it's supposed to come up on the screen. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's supposed to also come up on the screen in the corner because it makes a provision like yours. I'm going to do it here like that. It's also supposed to come up. That's why that's there. And it sits in a bucket, and it was appearing that it hadn't been used. It's kind of like email where you read your email or it's unread. Well, it was showing up, and that's why I was wondering, did that ever show up? Because it's, doesn't look like it did. So I appreciate that. I'll see if I can, another chore to figure out this week. I wouldn't even bother with these things, but people ask. I've got the ability, so I'm trying, I'm doing the chat here on this corner. Oh, I want to look at something here. Does the chat show up here? No, good. All right, sorry about that. Let's see. What new city in Colombia that you have never been to before and will do a video this year? there's a bunch of small places I want to go to. As soon as I get the car, I'm going to go. Quinchia is high on my list. Out in the middle of nowhere. I'm dying to go see why it takes 2 taxis and 5 bus exchanges when it's not that, by the way the bird flies, it's not that far away. It's in the department of Risaralda, where Parade is. As far as big cities, I've never been to Santa Marta. I've never been to Barranquilla. Santa Marta, even though I haven't been there, I've known lots of people that have spent time there. It seems like I almost know. I want to go back to Bucaramanga and finish some of the things I didn't get to do. But Barranquilla is high on my list. I want to go there, walk around, and see if I can run into Shakira. Groomy, how you doing? As long as it has Visa, MasterCard logo, it should be fine. That would be my guess, but not knowing, don't want you to depend on, information that I don't know. Main difference between credit and debit is the amount of the fees the merchant pays. My suggestion is message them. Facebook, they're all on Facebook. Just, look them up on Facebook, send them a message. Can be robbed and clear your account. Don't like that idea. Our car is expensive to hire in Colombia. I don't know. When you're when you're a deadbeat like me, when you're a penny pincher, everything's expensive. But I would say no. It costs me. I did have to pay an extra 60,000 pesos because I didn't put gas in the car because the gas stations were out of gas. So I couldn't put gas in the car. But the 4 days for it was a small car, Chevy Onyx. They call them mid-size here, but it's pretty small. I would call it a subcompact, or at least a compact. But it was 540,000 pesos for 4 days, plus I had to pay the 60,000 for gas. Okay, credit card's best, probably. Where can I find a Fire Stick in Armenia? Home Center sells them, or Mercado Libre. I had to buy one for the guest room so that they could have access to Netflix and YouTube and that, that kind of stuff. So I ordered it up from Mercado Libre. It cost me 124,000, and I saw in Home Center, it's the 3rd version, so it's the newest one. I don't remember if it was 4K or not, but I remember it was 174,000. Not to sound rude, but the roads are different to London and UK. You might want to take a while to learn the roads in the cities. The roads. Actually, I drove all over England. I rented a car there. It took 2 weeks. Went to what I termed as Sherwood Forest, but I was all over London. Went down to Stonehenge. Went over to Chester. Went up to the Scots border and stayed in a hotel called Maid's Head Inn, which is all the queens and kings have slept here kind of place. It was pretty cool, actually. Been all over England. Loved it. Of course, Liverpool. And never had a problem driving there, even though they drive on the wrong side of the road. I had no problem with it. I have no problem driving here, except in Pereira. It was a freaking nightmare. It was, it was not good. Saint James, $10. Thank you for the contribution. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. I was planning to use my Cash App card for car rental. Wonder if that'll pass. Doubt it. I've been to Santa Marta and Barranquilla. Would you say Barranquilla is better than Santa Marta? Maybe it's not as hot. Yeah, actually, if I went to, I don't know if I want to go to Santa Marta, but I am interested in some of the areas that overlook some of the small towns that are near, that are cooler and cool. Lauren dragged me to Boludo 2 out of my 3 days in Armenia. You liar. Very good, though. I left absolutely nothing on my plate. Liar, 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 liar. U.S. rental car companies will accept debit. Yeah, but we're not in the U.S., so, don't assume. I don't know. Probably will, but I don't know that. Car rental company name that you used. I don't know, but if you go to Facebook for Armenia, Colombia, or Pereira and put in car rental, it'll come up. 2 or 3 will come up. Mine was like a longer name. I just don't have access to it now without taking 2 minutes of dead air. Why not Santa Marta? I don't like hot climate. I'm over it. A few exceptions. San Andreas, it's hot, but you've always got this ocean wind. It's more than a breeze. And that place is just so spectacular. It's like an adult Disney World. Disney World's kind of adult too, but it's an awesome place. Santa Marta, actually my ex-wife's brother and his wife live there. It just doesn't have anything that attracts it. Let me put it this way. Given all the choices that are out there, although it's getting to the point where I've been to most every city in Colombia, but given the choices of things that I actually want to do, going to a place that's further down on that list, maybe next year I'll get to it. I don't know. I do want to see Barranquilla. U.S. rental car company said that. Rental car company, why not Santa Marta? Good morning from Atlanta. Pierre, good morning. I drove to Stonehenge, then to Bath. Bath? Yeah, it's, at least back in the 70s, it was a nice, easy drive. Of course, back in the 70s, you could only buy beer in a pub. I go into, a little store and I want to buy beer, and they don't sell beer. Then they didn't sell beer. You have to go to a pub. Well, you go to a pub, I want takeout beer. They don't have takeout beer. It's all draft. So what I did was, because I was with a couple friends, and we were going to go to Sherwood Forest, and I had my guitar, and we're gonna set up a bonfire. It was 3 of us. I'm driving the car. We're gonna set up a bonfire. We're gonna sit around, sing some songs, drink some beer, fall asleep, wake up the next morning, and get on with our ride. That was the plan. So I go into this little town near what I thought was going to be Sherwood Forest. God knows why I thought that. So I go into the store, and no. And so I'm looking around for things. What can we eat? Can we roast some hot dogs? I don't have hot dogs. They had some fresh baked bread, like the rustic. They had that. I think that maybe something else. It just wasn't that kind of store. I mean, you could buy flour and raw beans and things like that, but they didn't have ho-hos. Hate those. But anyway, so they had a bottle of French wine, and it was a wine that I knew, and I really liked it. So I bought that, but no beer. So they said, where can I get beer? And even though it's England, they speak a different language, but they directed me to this pub. So I go over to the pub, and I ask about the beer. Can't get the beer unless you belly up to the bar. On the fireplace mantle, I see these big, 2-gallon cans of stout. And so I pick it up and it's like full. So I said, well, what about that? And everybody's laughing. That's advertisement. Yeah, but there's beer inside, right? Well, yeah, there's beer inside. I convinced them to sell me both of those. So we light the bonfire and, we're singing songs and getting drunk and having a good time and eating the bread and drinking the wine and, life was good. Wake up the next morning getting poked by a stick or a baton with a bobby. And it was a classic bobby. This was the 70s. It was like, Monty Python. They got the tall hat with a big badge on the front. And there were two of them. They had bicycles, and one came down off the road, and he's poking me with a stick and waking up. And, he proceeded to bitch me out because I could have started a forest fire, and what was I thinking, and why would you even do this? We're there because people were complaining that you're in their backyard getting drunk and singing and having a fire. So I'm looking around kind of bleary-eyed, and I see this housing project right behind us. But there's all trees where I was, but it was surrounded by housing projects, and this was just a green space. So as soon as I opened my mouth, he said, "Oh, you're Yanks." Like, oh, that explains why you're so stupid. It's like, yeah, you're right. We're pretty stupid. And they laughed and said, just, make sure the fire's out. We'll come back and check, but, just clean everything up and be on your way. And they're kind of chuckling at our stupidity. It was a great night. It was a memorable night. Had a lot of fun. Can't imagine what the people in the houses thought. I lived in Santa Marta last year just before the pandemic. It's way too hot for me. Santa Marta is hot, hot, hot. If you burn, can't take the heat, don't go. That's kind of why I haven't gone. Know what you mean about the roads in Colombia. My partner is Colombian, so can get them to drive. There you go. Not a fan of heat, but I like Santa Marta, so reconsider. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying it's going to be further down on the list. I can't imagine that I'm not going to get there, one day. I just don't think this year. God, the year might be over before I even get my car back. Plus, navigating different places, they've got all these different rules like Medellin. They're going through their lockdown. They're going through their, you can't be on the road or go into stores without certain days. And, when things open up, it'll be better. So in the meantime, I think some of the smaller places that I want to go to where there are no restrictions, it's probably a better bet. Plus, there's a number of them that I want to go to because the big cities, been to pretty much all of them, almost all of them. But the small ones, I could spend the rest of my life going to different ones. So, that's where I'm kind of leaning. I couldn't get over the room temperature beer at pubs in London. I love Harold's, though. The people were nice. Now, I have to say that when I went to Chester, we went into a pub there, and they poured out. I wanted a what do you call it? Budweiser kind of beer, watery beer. I was thirsty, and so I wanted that. I think stout or lagers, probably, and ales. Those are my favorites, but I just wanted something like clean and refreshing, And they actually served out of the tap. It was ice cold. I was blown away, and I asked about that, and they said, well, in places that have this, that's probably what you're going to get. So, okay, all right, well, that's good to know. George, thank you. Hey, it popped up on the screen too. Thank you. A treat for you for Beludos. I really appreciate it. Do you mind if I take a guest? Thank you. It caught my eye. It popped up, but it seemed to go quicker. Maybe it was happening, but I was missing it. Yours, well, maybe not. Yours is showing that it did go through where the other ones didn't. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Couldn't get the room temperature beer at pubs. Yep. How far is Ibagi from Armenia? By time or by miles? Time. Well, with the tunnel going there, I think it was 2.5 hours. Without the tunnel, it's like 5 hours. If you were to send a drone and just fly there, I think it's like 30 miles away, or maybe it's even kilometers. It's not very far by miles. I don't know. Howard, it popped up again. Thank you. I actually caught the corner of my eye on this on my monitor. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome today. That's actually probably won't go to Boluto's. Actually, I need a new camera for my live streams, and it's probably going to go to a new live screen camera. But it's all good. Gil, sadly, you didn't do a proper pub in London. Now, I went to some pubs in London too. Actually, we hit a lot of places. But remember, this was 70s. When I think it was around 1977, I believe. I had a great time. I really did. Ran into some people that I knew, said, hey, if you're going to be in such and such, look up my grandmother. Hey, so there were a couple people that we actually looked up, and in my first tea, which I thought was going to be tea, was a friend's grandmother. And so it was actually in the same town where that Maid's Head Inn was, which is up near towards Scotland on the right side of the map, right on the train route. So we go to her house, knock on the door, and it was kind of weird. I thought she was maybe like a grumpy old lady, and then said why I was there, and all of a sudden, oh, tell me all about it. So she, swoops us in, and we were just in time for tea. And so I like tea, so I figured here comes the tea. Actually, she brought out this thing that had tears, and it was full of, I don't know, pastries, desserts, sweet things. I think there might have been some sandwiches on there. I honestly don't remember. I remember there were sweet things. I'm pretty sure there were sandwiches. There was sandwiches because I remember there was one, I thought it had shamrocks, and she said it was watercress, which flash memories of Maynard G. Krebs. I don't know. All these things are flooding into my brain, but I'm not connecting them. So there was watercress sandwiches. I remember that. But there were desserts, and I go, but where's the tea? And it's like, oh, you want tea? And so she brought tea out. I found out the tea is really an afternoon snack, except their snacks are like bigger than my meals, or maybe because we're a guest. I don't think I had another tea while I was in England, but it was a shock to me. I didn't expect food coming out, let alone this presentation with all these tiers of different things. Anyway, I assume that was normal there. He didn't go to a proper pub. Where to find those $1,000 car you mentioned in one of your videos? Well, they haven't been for a while, but I was called out on it by somebody who said, "Oh, you're making that up." So I proceeded to copy and send to him 3. I went into Facebook. I found 3 of those for sale. Those are Renault Twingos. They're cheap cars. You get older ones. They're really basic. They probably got 12-inch wheels on them. Now they're up to a couple thousand, maybe even up to 3,000 for a nicer one. But they're still cheap cars. I didn't I considered it because they're cheap. But I'm talking about driving from city to city, out in the country. Those, I wouldn't trust it. I mean, they have these little 2 or 3 cylinder engines with, with maybe they're 1 liter. But they certainly existed before. I see prices have been going up on all kinds of things, and I haven't looked in quite a while. But you had high tea. It's basically really expensive posh tea with cupcakes. Most common folks just drink supermarket tea. Yeah, maybe that was it. I felt like if I went to visit the Queen, that's probably what I would have gotten. I don't know. It was surprising. It kind of blew me away. Are those cars full scale? Depends on what your scale is. They come up to about the pocket of your pants. They're itty bitty things. They're surprisingly roomy inside. And they seem to, I've seen a lot of them with crazy mileage on them. So maybe what it is they're so basic, they're so easy, so cheap to work on that people just keep them going and going and going. I don't know. Maybe that was the way to go. But I don't know. I want to tell you guys a story about my car, but it's the story isn't done yet, and I think I'm coming up to the finish. And some of it will be a little embarrassing. Some of the choices, a couple of the choices I made are probably not what you would consider the best of choices. Yeah, live and learn. It's the first time. Don't hear you mention Natalie anymore. What's up? Nothing's up. How about this? Natalie's a friend. She lives actually in a building right over there. I can see it from my window. I talked to her. She messaged me yesterday. I see her friend Alejandra a lot more often because she's trying to get a pizza business started. It's kind of a sad story, but she's so positive and full of energy that, it's hard to be sad about it. But when COVID hit, she lost her job in Bogota. She was living in Bogota. She lost her job, and she had to pay rent. She had savings, so she was supporting her mother, who she had her own apartment, but she was supporting her mother. And then her brother lost her job, so she's using her savings to buy food and pay rent for basically 3 places. And she realized that her savings weren't going to last long. Plus, in Bogota, with COVID, prices went up. Here in Armenia, they didn't, but their prices kind of skyrocketed, in some cases doubled. So she saw this wasn't going to work out. So she started selling lunches in her neighborhood. And it went over big, but it was driving her crazy because everybody wanted, where's this? Where's that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Vary the menu. And so she would go shopping for these things, and she was, barely breaking even on them because of all these different things. So she decided she was going to make pizzas because pizzas, outside of variations of toppings, pizza's a pizza. But she didn't know how to make a pizza. So she's still doing the lunches. Something is better than nothing. But she spent her nights making dough, practicing making dough. So she's watching YouTube, she's practicing. She did that for a number of weeks and making sauce. She didn't know how to do it, so she's learning. Because if she's going to do it, she wanted it to be really good. So she practiced and practiced and practiced. So then the place that she was living, I don't want to get too deep into this, but basically throw everybody out. So she had to go to a different neighborhood, into a different apartment, and all her customer base she'd built up was too far out of the way. So she starts her pizza business, and it's going like gangbusters. It's paying the rent, it's buying groceries, taking care of her mother. she ended up actually hiring 2 employees, and they're delivering for her, and she hired her brother. I mean, it was a going concern. If you look over the advertisements and the videos, and it was killer. Her next step would have been, rent a restaurant. Alfredo, thank you. Appreciate number 1. Awesome. You are. No, you are. So it was going like gangbusters. And again, I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but something happened. It imploded. It was out of her control. Had nothing to do with her pizzas. It was something else. She could no longer make pizzas. She was so frustrated at that point, she decided she was going to move to Armenia and start over. But at that point, she had lost everything. By the time this all happened, she had dollars in her pocket. I don't know, dollars, pesos. She had very little money. She had enough to get here and basically survive for about a month. But she stayed with Natalie. And she wants to get a pizza business going again here because her pizzas are actually quite good. And she just sells like single sizes. What are they? 10-inch pizzas with like 6 or 7 different toppings. But her sauce is really good. Her dough, actually, I tried her dough and it was way better than average. I showed her some things that I really know how to make a pizza dough. And I showed her a few things. She incorporated those. She now makes her dough. She starts the day before, and she makes her poolish. And then, the next day, she puts it together as dough. And she goes through all those steps. So now she gets this big, pillowy, fluffy dough. And the flavor, you develop the flavor by the things I just mentioned. So she's doing all that. It's killer. But starting now is very difficult because over COVID, a lot of things began, but mostly because she just doesn't have the money to get going. I splurged 100,000 pesos, which is like little to nothing, and bought her this little electric pizza oven, which will actually take 12-inch pizzas and cook them really fast. New, I think they're like $120, 400,000, something like that. But this one was used and it was only 100,000 pesos. I ordered it on Mercado Libre, got to me in 2 days, and gave that to her. I wish her the best. I can't really do a lot, but starting up a business, the nice thing is in Colombia they don't mess with you. She doesn't have to go get a permit. She can sell on a street corner with pizzas, but she kind of needs a cart. There's things that she needs. She's going to eventually need a different pizza oven that's gas operated. So I'm rooting for her. I actually would like to put together a video. Maybe there's people out there that want to invest in her operation. I don't know. But she's really intelligent and she's a very hard worker. And she does not accept things from people. She's very proud, and but I could probably convince her to take investors. But you might get paid off in pizzas. I don't know. You never know how that goes. Anyway, that's a story. Natalie's in there somewhere also. Where was I? Secret is in the dough. Absolutely. And secondarily, the sauce. Everything else is, but you see, here in Colombia, the only thing people care about is the cheese until they've had a really good pizza. And then all of a sudden, they look at it differently. And so, she kind of want to break through that also. But she's been selling some pizzas, like in the building, the security guards buy from her. She gave them one, they liked it, and now they buy. And that's the thing. If you taste it and it's like really good, Alexis Pizza. No, she calls it Ale's Pizza, I think. It actually has a name that she's had, since Bogota. I'll do a video on it. I think it deserves it, and maybe if she can get some help out of it, I'll feel good about that. How often that veterinarian clinic across from your building have those dogs barking? Across from my building, dogs, not sure. There's vets all over the place because people do love their pets, but I really hear any dogs? When I was in Ecuador, if you watch those videos, I was getting dogs all the time. Occasionally, you'll hear a dog out there in the daytime, but no, dog's not a problem here. Man, I've been waiting all week to see your live. Thanks for always sharing. Happy to do it. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry that, we've had some problems. We're back on track. I was thinking that maybe what we'll do is at least give it a try. Maybe we'll run a early Saturday evening live and see how that goes. Maybe like a makeup deal. Where are we at? What are the startup costs involved in pizzeria startup in Armenia? Well, for her, it's like $10. I don't know. Could you please tell me, where did you get your eggs Benedict? Yeah, Bianco, the panaderia, the bakery that's on Centenario, just north of the National Police and the Condillo Police Station. That great big complex. It's got the airplane and the Jeeps and the 55 Ford and all those things out front. Alfredo, you're amazing. I wish I could send a super chat. My funds are limited at the moment, but I hit the like button. Lauren, do you use Brave? I'm not sure what that is. Brave? I can send you some basic attention token. I have no idea what that is, so I probably don't use it. But don't worry about it. You're here, you contribute. Everybody does it in the way they can. Some people, it's easier, and I put it to good use. I've been able to go so long and have the things that I have and improve as we go, even though we take step back once in a while. That's all because of you guys. And, I've got to get that camera, but then after that, everything is going to go towards my next trip. As soon as I get that car, I'll be on my way. Or within 2 weeks of getting that car back. I'll drive it around locally for a little bit to make sure everything's cool. Saturday Night Live. Yeah, Saturday. And will probably be funnier, even though I'm not very funny. Or the humor that I have, I entertain myself. Nobody seems to get what's funny to me. Double overtime. Yeah, but that's okay. I said we'll go. When you run out of questions, or I run out of voice or juice, then we'll wrap it up. Yes, it is a long coffee time today, and it is kind of pent up. How are things in Armenia, considering all factors, COVID and marches? The marches have been fine. I did a video where Natalie Alejandra sent me some clips, and I did some clips. And I have absolutely no problem walking in and around the people. Here in Armenia, if anything were to happen that would jeopardize me, for example, I'm very confident that there'd be 50 people around me that would come to my aid. It's just how they are here. It's ingrained in them. It's one of the things I like about Armenia. It's to a level that you don't see in other places. Even though other places will have something similar, it's like here is on steroids, that kind of helpfulness, friendliness. COVID, like I said, the only thing really going here is the mask. The mayor last week, he raised the curfew to midnight. I actually didn't look today. It's probably gone again. He said there's no more dry times. If you want to drink. What else? There's no. I mean, you go to the store. That's it. even for the couple days when they had reinstated that, I went over to the mall. There's no problem. Just walk right in. They don't even have anybody at the mall. You know, you just walk in. Well, I can't say they don't have security at the mall because they've always had those, you know, by the doorway. But everything is just open. You had asked me about new restaurants, and I don't know. I got to give that some thought because the restaurants that are new, I'm kind of feeling like they're not new anymore. But I could tell you some, sadly, some that are gone that I sorely miss. I hope my trip in July to Colombia isn't affected by the current situation. There is no current situation here. Cali, there was a little bit of stuff going on in Cali, but this was not a Colombia was burning. It was in Bogota. Cali is the place that it was a disaster. It was on fire. It was stoked by outsiders. There's legitimate things that people were upset about, not least of which is these endless lockdowns and job problems and all of that. You know, it all goes into a big pot. But it was, the fire was stoked and Cali blew up. But Cali, I mean, it's one of the many reasons I don't like Cali. Because if it's going to happen, I mean, you know, why do you think they targeted Cali? It's just, it's a different place. Never liked it. Here, Manizales, they had a lot of protests. You had some scuffles here and there, but, you know, it wasn't, you knew where they were. It wasn't anything really in danger. And now it's like, it always runs its course. And here we've run the course. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it. And as far as the COVID thing goes, it really depends on where you're going. Medellin, they just can't seem to, they keep locking everybody down. They keep going backwards. I don't get it because after all the time now in the stats that are available, we know that the lockdowns have absolutely zero effect on number of cases. So I have no idea why they're doing it, but they seem to be enamored with it. And here, this mayor, he's sick of it, obviously, himself. And he's saying, no. And Pereira is kind of a mixture. I think at Pereira, you're getting more, okay, we got some rules, but nobody cares. But they'll wear their mask, but, you know, they're out. I could see that with Marshall's videos in Pereira, because I was in and out, and every time I go, it's in the daytime, but some of his were more in the evening, and you could hear all the people and the noise and that kind of thing. So, you know, obviously they're kind of ignoring whatever's happening, which is good. That's the way it ought to be, right? That's what a free people do. Tell your wife, chill out. She'll love it. Travel is okay now. Yeah, you tell her. She can be meaner than a rattlesnake. She's not going to go back and watch this and read that, is she? 3 weeks ago, there was a protest with 16 people in Montreal, Canada, and someone set a garbage pail on fire. The headline in the national news, a photo of the trash can, Montreal on fire. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're getting, here there was a lot of, you know, I expressed it to you guys. There was a lot of exaggeration, and here people tend to accept things like that. They're less skeptical. And so among people, it was, you know, the rumors were spreading like wildfire. And consequently, people outside of Colombia were picking up on that. And so it was so blown out of proportion. Now, if you were in areas of Cali, I swear to you today, it looks like a war zone. There's street lamps that are broken over and laying across the road. There's trash everywhere. There are fires everywhere. Buildings there's not a window left in them, doors kicked in. There's areas that it was just terrible. But, you know, that was, let's talk about Portland. It's like, would you be afraid to go to the United States because Portland's been going on for a year? No, of course not. You just might avoid Portland. Think of it that way. It's fine. Oh, no one believes the lying mainstream media more than Canadians, my friend. Yeah, Colombians do. Yeah, it's it's wise to keep up with the situation. In South America, it's part of the equation. Things can jump off pretty quickly. Yeah, but I would say look what's going on in the United States and how fast it's happened. You were on an upward trajectory with record numbers and pretty much everything you look at, and now it's like you've gone into bizarro world in the course of weeks. It's like you've lost all that, and it's going backwards. It seems to be breaking out all over the world. I mean, Israel's back at it. You've got, China's doing their thing. Iran's, threatening boats again. All of this stuff that it was, the border, forget it. There is no border anymore. They're coming over by the hundreds of thousands of people. And I'm not even bringing up the politics of it, but how quick did that country change in the course of a few weeks? So, yes, South America can go through its changes, but if you're in the United States, you may look around in another week or two and not even recognize where you are. You might even be doing that right now. So, compared to that, here, I don't know. I'm kind of liking it. I'm kind of liking where I am. It's pretty good. Okay, James, same in London, UK. Felt safer in Colombia than I did in London. Okay, I think we're at the end of the road with the questions. I want to thank you so much for contributions. It was killer today. I promise you I will put it to good use. I hope I provide you with the value. I must. So, makes me sick and really want to move to Colombia. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't even want to leave the country of Colombia. I had plans. I was going to go to Chile. There were some other things that I had, I've canceled it. I'm not the least bit interested. I love it here, and I love it here more than I did last year, the year before, the year before that. It's hard for me to even put into words why that's the case, but I've never in my life been as content, as happy on a daily basis as I have been living here in Armenia, Colombia. I truly love it. And I knew back 20 years ago when I was living in Pereira and didn't like Pereira, but I was coming out here on the weekends, there was something then that, it told me, this is a place you want, if you ever retire, or if you ever become independently wealthy, this is where you need to be. And it took me a while to follow it, and I had to go through Ecuador to get here. But, man, I don't regret any of it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. All right, I'm getting preachy. That's it. We're going to end it. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Northern California, that explains a lot. And maybe we'll see you Saturday. Ciao.